evening and welcome to, I was going to say MCFC 9320 Pubcast, but we're doing things a little bit different tonight. We're collabing with a good old Aussie Pat there and Martin. Thanks as always for everyone who's joined us. Purpose of the show tonight, it's a no old bad thing on these Muppets what are going against us. I've just had enough now. It's not going to be a rant as such, just going to attack them. So Paul Merson, Jonathan Liu, Mark Goldknob, Simon Peroxide Jordan, Talks Shite. We're coming for you tonight, and there's a whole list of everybody there. So let's kick it off. We're also live on TikTok as well tonight, because I'm sure we'll get many fans from different clubs as well. So if they want to throw insults and stuff across, we will tackle that differently tonight. So yeah, good evening everybody who's in the chat as well. Hey, this is weird, isn't it? Me hosting a show. We're used to them.
It's not weird for me. Never in a million years will I get to host anything.
I'm just like, you what? Pardon?
Go on, Pat. You can host it if you want, mate.
You what? No, you know what? I think there's going to be a couple of passionate rants here, so I'll probably just end up being the moderator. You know, I don't have X. I don't have Twitter. I don't have X. I don't have Twitter, and I don't think I have to divulge as much of this anti-city agenda as you guys do over in the UK.
And
I will have a few things to say. I'll have a few things to add, but I just think it'll be just a fraction different from what it is in this.
Well, I want to ask that later on for you, Pat.
Of course, yeah, no problem at all, mate. Yeah. I've got plenty of examples, but it's If anything,
I don't know what the media is like abroad. You say I only go off what we hear in the UK, and
yeah.
I don't know what
it's like. It's a little bit. I'm going to get into it, but it's a bit more like they do it in stealth, in a way. You know what I mean? So.
All right, let's jump straight into it, Martin. Section has said, Paul Merson said, United are like Ferrari. Unnecessarily expensive and always breaking down. What a clown. Now, Paul Merson, I'm not going to have a go at it. That is a recovering druggie, an alcoholic and stuff like that, and prostituting himself with stuff on social media for these happy pills, what he's popping and stuff like that. What I will say is, we're in an era now where it's easy for us to say there's an agenda against City, and we're being defensive, la-di-da-di-da. Well, do you know something? I think there is an agenda against City. Yeah, things are happening like VAR with other clubs and stuff like that. But the thumbnail, what of Pope, if anybody's seen it, there's a whole host of people on that thumbnail, and and organisations like Sky Sports, Rio Ferdinand, Sutton, Rory Smith, BBC, Danny Murphy, Ian Herbert, Anfield Agenda, Bellend, Michael Owen, Andy Inchcliffe, Spitty Carragher, Rob Harris, Niall Quinn, Richard Keys, Miguel Delaney, Custis, Stuart Pearce, John Hartson, Oddle. Most journalists except Martin Samuel and a friend of the show. I won't mention his name. I won't embarrass him. But come on, Pat, you must see that the things what had been developing, not just this season, but for a bloody long time.
Oh no, I mean I'm not disagreeing with you in any way whatsoever. I mean, you see it, and then if you see it for yourself, and then if you don't see it, then obviously that's how tight knit our blue community is, because somebody's obviously going to let out some dirty laundry, or let out something that is being said that goes against everything we think about as the club, and fake news and misinformation and stuff like that too. So obviously we're gonna hear it first before anybody else. But in terms of it, being released out into the public here in this part of the world, a little bit different. But like I certainly agree with you. There's absolutely no denying that there is an agenda there.
Can you just keep that on the screen? Sorry, Pat. Can you just keep that on the screen in a minute, and I'll go back to that.
Yeah, and I will. I'll put pertinent. I'll keep pertinent points on the screen, like we did with
Sorry, Pat. Go on, mate.
No, that's okay. Look, I'm just just going over sort of my thoughts about it from this corner of the earth. But yeah, look, there's absolutely no denying that there is an agenda from various media news outlets and such. And from this part of the world, you're sort of relying on the blue community to sort of keep you updated because, it's a little bit different over here. Of course, there's a different climate, not just in terms of City themselves, but just basically football in general. So for me, it's as I said, like there are things there's going to be examples that do boil my blood and stuff like that, and or if anything, just leave me confused because these days now it's so predictable that you're just wasting energy just getting angry about it and things like that. And there almost seems to be a trend based on what City's doing, whether it's good on the pitch, it's good or it's bad. Let's be honest. The last few years has been a lot more good than there has been bad. And
Absolutely.
If anything, I just think the media has just been flicking turning the toxic knob up to 11 basically.
There's a lot of toxic knobs there, mate, and it just showed when Everton got the deduction, City was trending.
Yeah.
And I think
it was hilarious.
I think that says it all. But yeah, you've got clowns like, go on, mate. You rip into Goldbridge if you want, mate. As I say,
my point is on that, and Section makes a great point.
I'm not bothered if there's a libel case against my channel tonight. People can say whatever they want.
You'll make a mug about it.
No, the simple fact is what annoys me. Section's spot on, and I've said this before. Now, yes, I am of a certain vintage, and he's from an older vintage. We understand that. But the point I'm making here is, I came from an era where United and Liverpool despised each other. And I mean despised each other. There was none of this, oh, well, I respect them. There was none of that back in the day. In the 90s and early 2000s, Liverpool and United didn't sit there holding hands like best friends. They need police cordons in and out the stadium. Where this agenda's come from, there's an old saying, that saying about, my enemy is your enemy and blah, blah, blah.
The enemy of my enemy is your friend. Yeah, is my friend.
That's what United and Liverpool have become. And it's not pushed, because what annoys me is, doesn't come from the actual proper match-going fans. If you go and speak to the proper match-going fans, and this is not a dig, by the way, non-match-going fans, but you go speak with someone who goes to Anfield on the regular or goes to the Swamp on the regular, and you said to them, do you hope Liverpool win the league? They'll tell you to piss off or clout you around the back of the head. It's idiots like Mark Goldbridge who, etc., has to make this narrative. And I get it. It gets in clicks and everything else. Because here's what gets me. If you look at a lot of the people who go on his channel, and he's done a superb job, don't get me wrong, he's performed character for himself, etc. The people who are not proper weekend diehard home and away match going fans, because they don't agree with what the guy says. The guy talks out of his rear end. I have no problem with anyone doing YouTube or social media or anything they want to do. But what pisses me off, because we do it, but what pisses me off is when you're sat in your little bedroom and you're telling other people what to do and how to behave, and you don't go to a game in your life. And you can't do, because some sections are fading for your own, which I don't condone. They're fading for their own safety when they walk in the door.
I just find the irony of it too, man, with Goldbridge is how basically most of his it's safe to say, like, his huge audience, and fair play to him for getting to where he is today. But you've got to admit, I reckon 99.5% of his.
I don't say fair play to him, mate. He's on the same level as his other Bell and
no, but I mean, like, he's found an avenue. He's found an avenue, and he's made a career out of it. So
we could. He can't go to Anfield for his own safety.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah, but what I'm getting to, Andy, is basically saying with Goldbridge is probably 99.5% of his audience do not set foot in Old Trafford. None of them are season tickets. There's hardly anyone. And the irony is, for that exact reason, that's why he's not allowed to go to Old Trafford. And his excuse for it is basically it's a protest against the Glazers.
He's got
but yeah, it's a job too. But then you've got Saeed who does a good job on his channel too, in the work he does with Big Steve and the Big Six and that. He goes to every single match, no questions asked, no holds barred. I mean, obviously he's not going to be as savage on no offense to your name, but he's not going to be as savage as say Mark Goldbridge is, because he's got a lot of Blues in his family. So again, you just got to look at the backstory of everybody too. But I think with him, with the Goldbridge, everything is completely irrelevant. As at the end of the day, it's just for clicks, and he's just following that media narrative of just being as toxic as possible.
But we could set a channel up, just be like them, and be successful. Thankfully, I've got morals, and I'd much rather.
We've all got a soul, mate. Exactly, we've all got a soul.
I would much rather do the stuff we do, where we have decent debate, stuff like that, than just be an absolute fucking bellend. The thing with Goldbridge, when he first started out, and he blocked me on near enough everything because he invited me on his show. I'll never forget it. I was actually outside the Etihad, and I went on, and I absolutely hammered him. And he cut me off, and he blocked me off everything after that because I knew of him before he became famous, if you like. But you've got organisations like Talk Shite and stuff like that. What are feeding these knobheads? Like Rory Talk Shit, people like that.
And they've got shows.
And that's what I mean. And let's go through an organisation like Talk Shite. Simon Peroxide Jordan. You've got the likes of Gold Knob. You've got the likes of Rory Talks out of his ass. It's not going to be long now. But it's people like them what feed. If you like sheep, there's a lot of sheep. What they don't have time to think for themselves. I'll tell you who I will lay some respect on. Lee Gunner.
He keeps it real, mate. God,
Yeah,
I don't subscribe. I haven't subscribed to him yet, but I listen to a lot of his stuff, and my God, he keeps it real.
Truth.
Oh yeah.
And the truth is a very simple truth here. He's jealouser, and it is what you call. It's like what kids do when something goes wrong. A kid doesn't stand up and go, "It's my fault. Shouldn't have done that. I've been a bit of a dick."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if you want me to swear or not. I do apologise. But
listen, no holds bad.
The simple fact is that Lee Gunner tells it as it is. And the trouble is there is too many fans, whether it's reporters or whether it is media people within Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or whatever, they are deflecting their own insecurities and their own shit-run football clubs onto us. Now, Merson said about a Ferrari. Yeah, don't get me wrong, Ferrari's a nice car. But a kid's dream is not to buy a Ferrari anymore.
No. It's Bugatti.
Well, that's my point. Things move on. The trouble is, nobody's moving on because, hey, presto, I'm going to say it, I don't care. We have owners with the wrong colour skin from the wrong area of the country or from the world, should I say. And by the way, we've done things the right way. We've done things your club couldn't do. Not our fault. What pisses me off is £14 million on Julian Alvarez. Could United, Liverpool, Chelsea not have bought that?
It was there. It wasn't just solely for City. It wasn't exclusive for City. Anybody with the right scouting system could have gone and got these players like the
Claudio Chavera. Could nobody have gone and got him?
Yeah.
Haaland. By the way, Haaland had a release clause. Sell your club better. Sell your club better to these people. No, because what you want to do is Instagram FC. Too many clubs are going on social media and seeing how many followers, how many millions of clicks they get. Right, here we go. This will sell shit. Let's go with it. It's garbage. It tells you something when United have a bus parade for taking a COO out of the football club. They used to have bus parades for trophies. They're now having bus parades for taking the tea lady. Is this where the mighty's gone? Is this where we've gone? And it's driven by the crap from Nick Harris, that clown bloody...
Got list of everyone.
Bloody hell, look at you guys.
You've got Miguel Dickhead. Won't call him Delaney.
Rob Harris, Neil Custis, Miguel Nobad, Ian Herbert. We've got Rory Smith. Not Rory Jennings, because he's another bellend, but Rory Smith, the so-called journalist. But it's not just the red top journalists either. We're seeing more established. To be fair, there's only a handful what are absolutely genuine. And two off the top of my head, as I say, I'm not going to say somebody who Martin knows who I'm on about, but there's two people I will lay some respect on, and that's Martin Samuel and also Henry Winter. They are fine. I'm going to come on to other things in a bit about how they operate in the TV and stuff like that. But I just think at the minute it should be a name thing, because they're accumulating very, very quick, Pat, aren't they?
Mm. Oh yeah. They're all starting to expanding numbers. Basically, the only thing I find funny with the journalistic climate at the moment is, what's it going to be like in, say, a few years' time when, 5-10 years' time, when you get these young kids who are going through school right now, and they'll grow up and want to be, I want to be a sports journalist, like I couldn't be a football player, but like, sports journalist is the next best thing I want to do, or something like that. And they come to this, and they're born a blue, they grow up a blue and everything like that. And then they go and get a job at, the Sun, the Athletic, wherever it is. I'm just picking names. And then all of a sudden you come in and your first one of your first shifts is something like that, even if it's just not an apprentice, but a trainee sort of, journalist or something like that. Next thing you know, your editor is coming out, or your publicist is coming out and saying, right, I need you to write this about City doing this and City doing that. And you're just like, what the hell have I got myself into? And then the other thing too is that when those journalists get older and they start getting more senior roles, this whole narrative of like the red agenda and everything like that, it's just going to be more of an issue. You know what I mean?
You know what's so sad? I was joking with them. They did do a little bit of research for this show. Same question.
It's time for everything, isn't it?
I know we're not on the Mank way here. I know I'll wing down there. I'm being more professional tonight.
Before you get into the groove, as it were, mate, with regarding what Pat's just said there, yeah, these journalists will turn around and say, "Hey, we write the article, we don't do the headlines." Doesn't matter whether the headlines match the shit what they are actually writing. So,
I'll make it. No, one thing I would say. Do you know what a lot of people do? And it's human nature. This. They only read the headline.
Exactly. Absolutely.
It's like a thumbnail on a YouTube. That thumbnail shit and doesn't catch people. You don't watch.
Is that why you
Those
do one like that?
And our headlines. So the trouble is, if you put on City guilty, bang, you've got everyone. It's like I was a little bit naughty the other day. Not on clickbait, because we don't do it, but I put our City. What happens if City are innocent? My God, it was like meltdown in the comments. Because everyone saw City and innocent, and it hit the shit button.
In your defence, right? There's nothing up with either thought-provoking or playing devil's advocate.
No, my whole point is Manchester City in 2016. This is 2016. Were voted the fourth most hated club in the country. That was 2016. So 8 years ago, we were the fourth hated club. Again, I'm a certain vintage where we were everyone's second football team.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the old thing, Andy, of if I could love any club to get to a cup final or win an FA Cup, it'd be Manchester City.
Yep, absolutely.
We've got the most loyal fans in the world. 30,000 cramming Main Road in Division 2. Wow, what a fan base.
The shitter we got, we had to build another.
That's been forgotten. That history's been.
You said it, Martin. You said you want to talk about clubs having a cult mentality. The crap is the shitter the City got. The more numbers you got, the more people you got in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Pat,
that's a cult mentality.
Relegated and Bills stands. We built
so if we get
stands as we got shit.
So for that logic, if we get relegated to Vauxhall Conference League, then they're going to have to turn the Etihad into like the Azteca in Mexico or something like that.
I don't.
Or as big as the MCG or something. Yeah.
All of that's been forgotten.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, you're not going to like this. Some of it's on our own club as well. I'm not going to lie, think it is. But a lot of it, 99% of it, comes from the media rhetoric.
Do you mean they're just too quiet about it?
I'll tell you what I will criticise our club for, mate. they don't ban the asses of half of these knobheads who we've got written down. All these going against us, all these so-called journalists.
Andy, they let Miguel Delaney into the ground when we beat Real Madrid, and then he went and slagged us off. He went and slagged us off after the game.
You know, listen, I'm not expecting City to ban the likes of Anfield, Agenda and knobheads like that and Goldberry, but we can certainly do stuff like we can stop giving, the club can stop giving authorising interviews for things like Talk Shite, Sky Sports, the Manchester United Evening News, the BBC. Stop letting the likes of Rory Smith in and knobheads like Ian Herbert and Danny Murphy and absolute whoppers like that. The club, that's where I have got a big problem with the club by just going, you slagged us off? Oh, come on then. Do you want a brew as well? It shouldn't be. It should be. Hang on, you ain't fucking coming in our club.
You know what the narrative will be too if we banned them all because of the way they've been publishing articles about City. They'll turn around and say, "Oh, now they're hiding things from us." Exactly.
I've got a better one for you. Again, back in 2016, I got told, because I do these Twitter Spaces and all these groups, and I was just listening to some United fans and Arsenal fans and Liverpool fans, and these United fans come out and went, "We don't even hate City.
Might as well be Celtic."
Yeah. Or might as well have a black eye because you're
he got a good leather in, by the way.
Or you might as well charge tourists to come over and walk around Old Trafford or go around looking at the
pub. Oh, yeah, charging tourists like $25 a head to do a bunch of pubs around the ground.
You know what I mean? But no, the similar thing is, we were always, as I said, these Arsenal United fans, we don't hate Sarah. We don't hate them. We hate United and Liverpool more, and we hate Arsenal more, and this, that, and the other. And these United fans are saying, no, we hate Arsenal and Liverpool more than you. Which Liverpool I can get, but I went, no. So where have you got this? You hate Arsenal from more than City? Because of rivalry. So what do you mean? So I looked into it. I thought, do you know when they asked people, Manchester United fans who again go to games, 93% of them said City were their biggest rivals, and they hated the club the most. 93%. That was back in 2016.
By the way, Martin, I've not got a problem with fans banter like, "Hey, cheats."
No, my point is, Andy,
I've not got a problem with that.
It's been rewritten.
It's bred from these absolute knobheads.
Exactly.
I don't mind banter. Banter's brilliant.
No, but Andy, my point is that it's been rewritten now because these fans are being programmed by these idiots in the media to look at City as a non-relevant situation and a little club.
Yeah. They've created
10 years ago, we were their biggest rivals. They hated us. Come on.
It's almost like these content creators have almost created like a false reality, where I guarantee that most of these viewers, most of the people that listen into them every single week, if you ask them the same question, if they weren't subscribed, if they didn't watch it, and you asked that same question you just did about who's your biggest rival, it'd be completely different. The response would be completely different because they've just been fed that narrative to the point of where they're almost indoctrinated on who they need to hate.
Have you ever noticed every time we get a cup final, semi-final, anything like that, there's always something about 115 or the Premier League charge?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, of course. Comes out. Even the local articles, some of the local news sports articles out here. I'm gonna try and find it actually, because it was just one of our TV networks, like Nine's Wild World of Sports, who pretty much was like the spearhead of like cricket in Australia for 40 years. They did an article about the Champions League victory, but then obviously within the same sentence they mentioned the 115 charges. Go, keep talking amongst yourselves, guys. I'll see if I can find it.
No, but that's the thing, Andy. It just annoys me because we're not allowed to. We know for a fact if we got to a semi-final of the Champions League, I will bet any amount of money there'll be a story on that page about Manchester City.
There'll be a negative spin, and that's why I say that's why I'm annoyed at City that they don't get these bellends away from the club. Because are you telling me out of all these, how many of them could they actually ban? They probably couldn't ban Sky Sports, but they could not do interviews. So straight away there, Talk Sport, they're not licensed for that. Go away. Manchester United Evening News, go away. All these knobheads. City don't have to deal with them.
Guys, I found the article here. Okay, so this is from Nine's Wild Sports. You know, Nine, probably Australia's biggest primetime network over here. You know, huge influence in sport and politics as well. Their media arm stretches the entire nation. They posted an article. Probably, I believe it was immediately after the Champions League final, because it's labelled the same date as the final itself, June 10th. And I'm going to just quickly read it, and just see how quickly it goes from Champions League to talking about 115. This is the first sentence. So it says, as the confetti continued to rain down on Manchester City's triumphant squad, football pundits were already attempting to untangle what it means for the club's complicated legacy and reputation. The 1-0 win over Inter Milan in Istanbul on Sunday, Australian Eastern Time, smashed the club's Champions League curse and ended its reputation as European chokers. But when the party dies down and the hangover subsides, City will return to the reality of a legal fixture for the ages. The Premier League has challenged its defending champion with 115 charges of alleged financial wrongdoing and failures to cooperate with an investigation that took more than 4 years. Dozens of charges allege breaches of the league's financial monitoring rules dating from 2009, or for the first full season City was owned by the ruling family of Abu Dhabi. And 30 more charges relate to City's lack of cooperation in the past 5 seasons with a Premier League investigation that opened after leaked and likely hacked club internal documents were published in 2018. How much of that was actually spoken about City's actual Champions League final? Yet the article is about winning the Champions League final.
Yep, absolutely.
That's not from BBC. That's not from Talkshite. That's not from The Sun. That's not from The Independent. That's nothing from your guys. That is from an Australian TV network, a network that is so more focused on, puts all its resources on rugby league and on cricket. And Aussie rules, depending on what state you're in, because some states favour that footy code more than others. But the second it comes to winning a European competition in football, now that comes down to more about the game itself as much as it does the City, which I'll get to at some point when you guys ask about like the climate, the sort of climate against City here in Australia. But you see what I mean? It just means that it doesn't matter if it's UK. It's just like, I think it can come down to the actual editor, it can come down to the publisher. But as you can see, it doesn't matter what corner of the earth you're in. There's always that anti-City agenda, or they're always looking to discredit any sort of success that we have.
Yeah, no, I agree with
you. Just something what me and Martin have spoke about in the past regarding, you know, the likes of these fan channels. What basically just after clicks, la di da di da. I've said to Martin, and I don't know the guys in the chats take on this. I've said to Martin, regardless, it doesn't matter how big your channel is, whether you've got 1 subscriber or you've got 20 million subscribers. I think every fan channel should be responsible for being balanced. You know, not just driven against one thing. Because unfortunately, there is sheep and they believe absolutely everything what people say. So there'll be some times when, and for the guys in the chat who come along on my show and stuff like I've done it on your show as well, where if everybody's more or less agreeing, I'll do a devil's advocate just to try and get it balanced. But the charges, 115 charges, let's break it down. So I forget, I watched something today with somebody who's clued up with finances, actually broke it down to the 5, what we know it is. And as I say, I don't care about banter and stuff like that. Banter's just funny. I can take banter. That's what football's all about. But it's these so-called professional people, these so-called professional organisations, what are just getting away with it every single day of the week. I don't care about the clicks. You know, they've got to take responsibility for what they're doing.
Because none of them have read the case, Andy.
No, I get that.
And the way it's been spun as well.
Now, you got someone in the chat there who's obviously clued up and must have read it all.
Which one?
It's Stacer. Do you want me to tell people the 5 breakdown? I can do.
Yeah, go down. Yeah, just like, because listen, there'll be people, whether it's rival fans or not, who are not going to go in the chat, but just come on thinking it's going to be some sort of meltdown and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they might not be aware of the actual facts.
Yeah.
You're spot on. And again, that's because the media.
We're putting the dirty laundry out to air. We put the dirty laundry out in the line.
15 charges are broken down into 5 main areas. The area number 1, which is where the majority of the case will hang its head, basically, which is failure to provide accurate and up-to-date financial information from 2009-10 to and including 17 and 18. There are 54 breaches of that. The next one, failed to provide accurate financial reports for player and manager compensation from 2009 to 2010, up to and including 17-18. There are 14 counts, which includes the Roberto Mancini allegations, which, by the way, no one from law enforcement or a lawyer has spoken to Roberto yet.
HMRC. If it's a fraud case, as far as we know, he's not been arrested and interviewed over it.
Nope, not one person. The third point is failure to comply with UEFA's regulations, including UEFA's club licensing and financial fair play, which is 5 counts. The fourth one is breaches of Premier League profitability and sustainability regulations from 2015 to 16, up to and including 17 and 18, 7 counts. So 3 and 4 are pretty minor. There's not a lot of stuff in there. The fifth one, failure to cooperate with the Premier League investigations from the December 2018 to present. There is 35 of those 115 that are on non-cooperation.
Which is, if we're going to, which is the ones you think like they may stick because, as we said before.
Yeah, and the other thing that makes me really tick is rivals and media have only read the outcome page from CAS, which was a 1-page document that came out on the day of the result. None of them have read the 98, 99-page document from CAS. Do you know what? I don't expect them to. Mm-hmm. Not everyone will have read a full 100-page document about the legality and the case and the witnesses of the full CAS case. So what I'll do is, what we're always accused of. This was page 78 of CAS within its conclusion. Point 289, section J, conclusion 289, page 78. In view of all the above, there is no doubt that Etihad fully complied with its payments, obligations towards MCFC, and that MCFC rendered the contractual agreed services to Etihad in return. The majority of the panel finds that the Etihad sponsorship agreements are presumed to be negotiated at a fair market value, that MCFC, HHSM, and ADUG, Abu Dhabi United Group, and Etihad are considered not to be related parties, and the Etihad sponsorship agreements were legally binding contracts. There is no evidence that agreements were backdated or that MCFC otherwise retrospectively tried to cover up any alleged violations following the publications of the leaked email. Where do you hear that in the media?
You don't, because that trying to prove City
because
innocent.
The truth hurts them.
Yeah, and that's
the truth
it.
Hurts their narrative. Simple as that.
That what you've just
researched.
No, what you've just delivered is factual. And as I say, if his rival fans, what are watching it and stuff like that, they might think, all right, so it's not 115 charges. It's not, and that's what the only thing. And people can say what they want about CAS and stuff like that. Yeah, we've got a fine. That's because we didn't comply. That's because I'll use the analogy. If somebody come to my door, say a copper or whoever, and said, I just want to come in and see your TV license. Have you got a warrant? No. You're not coming in then. Go and get yourself a warrant, and then you knock on my door, and then you can come in and you can see my TV license. That doesn't make me guilty. That makes me think, why should I invite you in my house when I don't need to?
Mm.
Yeah, we got a fine for it, but
plus it's a setup. They always thought it was a setup. They thought it was a setup. And by the way, it was proven this. UEFA or someone at UEFA was leaking information out to the media. That's why it's all become cloak and dagger now. That's why it has become so secretive, is because the Premier League and City have gone, keep this as quiet as we can. We'll do this privately between us. Because UEFA didn't want to play that game. Why is Sefrin, for example, 2 years on, coming out, making statements and crying like a little bitch?
Sefrin, who is a lawyer, by the way.
You got beat, get better evidence.
To be fair, UEFA are not corrupt at all. Michel Platini is not corrupt. Sepp Blatter, he's not corrupt, is he? God rest his soul, Beckenbauer wasn't corrupt, was there? So if you could,
they'll talk about the leaked emails. 2.29.0 or 290.0. The leaked emails discuss an arrangement whereby Etihad sponsorship contributions would be funded or procured by the funded HHSM or ADUG, but such participation was never established. Mr. Pearce may have tried to implement the arrangements but within the leaked emails, but in the view of the majority of the panel, there was no evidence or file establishing that he actually went ahead with any such an attempt.
You're reading that, aren't you?
Yeah. So I'm not accused
and reading it better these days.
Do you know what it is? I just do research. What nobody outside of Manchester City's fan base does. And then, you know what? I don't blame them. But what I blame is the media. Do a better job. The mainstream Talk Sport never talk about this. I've never heard once Simon Jordan mention anything about that in the Cass case.
I've seen him get ripped apart on his show twice recently about City stuff.
Do you know, Andy? Do you know what happens? You know, if we get cleared, which I expect us to, what they should do to just get on the show there, just because actually it'd be really good clicks for the show and it would benefit us as well. Who is Simon Jordan's probably biggest kryptonite on that show when they get him on? Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, because my God, those two, they go at each other. I know Eddie Hearn probably doesn't have any affiliation with Manchester City, but I know for a fact that he would probably get a good wind up out of Simon Jordan.
Absolutely.
And I would love to see him. I'd love to see someone like him. You know, even if it was just a call and just basically turn around and say, "Oh yeah, they're not guilty," or this and that, because it would just go against everything that Simon Jordan has been trying to spew for the last couple of years and things like that. And if anybody was going to do it, it's someone who grinds his gears, and that would be someone like an Eddie Hearn or something like that. I think it would just be absolutely hilarious.
Because he calls him for being bankrupt. Calls him out.
Graham Souness ripped.
And then Simon Jordan wastes 5-10 minutes of his show trying to justify that he wasn't bankrupt. Yeah,
that's what he does.
He really winds him up. And that's what we need to do. If we clear our name, and then he's got nothing else to say except when we clear our name and he's got no other topic to bring up apart from brown envelopes. Then if you get Eddie Hearn on there, oh my God, he would absolutely he'd tear him a new one.
I think that will happen. I think the people who are not biased against City, fair people. Yeah, Graham Souness is all right. By the way, Graham Souness is married to a lady who's a City fan. By the way, now to do with that though.
He's a bit of a dick with Grealish though.
Listen, because Pogba doesn't play for United anymore.
Listen, that's
it needs someone.
That's totally different, mate. Whether he was a dick with Grealish or not, when it really, really matters with something like the stuff what we're being accused of by all these social media lawyers and stuff like that, who just listen to bellends. it just shows the actual mentality of it. I think the likes of Martin Samuel will go after everyone because he's the only one, Martin Samuel, to my knowledge, who's gone. It's because they're all racist against City's owners. To my knowledge, he's the only one who's actually come out and got the elephant out of the room and said it.
There is an argument, to be honest, mate, and I don't want to go too much down this whole race thing, but there is an argument for it because you can almost draw a parallel to the way the media treats City and its owners to similar to the way the media is treating geopolitical situations right now. I don't want to get into it too much. We know about what's happening in Gaza. We know about what's happening in certain parts of that part of the world. But you can kind of see with the way the media sort of portrays it, to the way that they sort of, basically verbally lynch sort of our owners and the way that they try to drag our club through the mud.
You couldn't have linked that better with what Top of the League saying. I know exactly what you mean, Top of the League. That's Stefan who was on TalkSport. He spoke sense for however long, not just sense because he was talking sense, not just because it was City. If I was a rival fan, right, and I listened to him, I'd think, you know something, he's got a point. He's got a point there. Stefan, he spoke for however long, and the clip what they did and what the headlines is. City will be City. If City found guilty, they will be relegated. Absolutely spot on, Top of the league, and it's that kind of stuff. What's boiling my urine at the minute.
No, you're right, and it's because it came out City were guilty. That was the headline.
Yeah,
and that isn't what he said.
Yeah.
So if you've not
even over here, the TalkSport had YouTube short saying clipping it to make it sound like Stefan was going to say they are guilty and they will.
If you've not listened to the interview, I think he does it. Terry does it at the football terrace all the time.
Yep.
But here's the thing: people want these people banned. Now, the trouble is with City, you're in a damned if they do and damned if they don't situation. Because everyone goes, if they get cleared, sue them, go after them, libel, everything. The trouble is we've got, do you shit on your own doorstep?
Shit where you eat.
So in a way, they've got us by the curlies. Because they know we can't go suing the other clubs because, hey, presto, we've still got to do business with the other clubs. And they've honestly got us by the short and curlies sometimes. But I would like City to be a bit stronger because I tell you what, Ferguson wouldn't stand for this.
Nope.
No.
Not a million else chance he would. The trouble is with City, we're trying to be everyone's best friend. We're still the people's club.
What Andrew's saying there, the most irritating thing about all this is we should be talking about the greatest season any team in Britain has ever had. And all we hear and talk about is 115 charges against us. It's constant. It won't take any, as you know, Andrew, it won't take anything away from City fans, what we've seen and stuff like that. There's a lot of bitterness and jealousy, within the media, be it written media or visual media, all your organisation. These things like, and again, I've put some other points down here, which I think it's quite relevant as well. You've got things like pundits should be impartial. They should be impartial.
Yeah. Leave your tribalism at home. Yeah.
No disrespect to the likes of whether it's Gary Neville or whoever, right? He should not be allowed to commentate on City, United, and even probably Liverpool, because he'll have hatred for City and United. And he's already said when he was younger and he was a player, it was like City were the rivals, even though we was crap. Because and the St. Scholes has said the same. They shouldn't be, because Gary Neville's all right, to be fair. I think he's pretty balanced in his commentary. But your Carragers and stuff like that, they should not be allowed to. The other one is things like the referee, Anthony Taylor, the Altrincham fan. He should not be allowed to referee City matches or United matches. it's. And by the way, no offense
I've
to
got a point
me.
on that, by the way. I've got a point
Okay.
on that in a minute about you just mentioned that about referees. Sorry, but how come Arsenal, Everton, Liverpool get apology letters? Where's our apology letter from Old Trafford last season? Has he got lost in the post?
Well, after that incident, Howard Webb was already in place, and listen, Howard Webb was in bed with Ferguson and United before we were successful. It seems like all of a sudden, City said, "Well, we need to try and do it." Yeah, let's. We've spoke about it on our show, and we spoke about it on your show. Take City's trophies away in the Premier League. Yeah, as you were, Al, they wanted it. The cartel would be there. Liverpool would have won them. Arsenal would have won them. United would have won them. I think United had won something like six on the bounce and stuff like that. But we're making it a farmers' league. No, we've just come in there flexing our muscle with our money, but you don't like it because it's foreign money. You know,
we warned them. We warned them. Well, we were the only football club trying to fight for the little guy. We were the ones trying to say to Everton and Villa and all these, don't do it. We've got you back. And instead, most of the clubs turned around, gave us the middle finger, including Burnley under the old ownership, including Leicester, Newcastle, Everton, etc., etc. But now FFP's come in and they can't spend. That's suddenly our fault. So, and by the way, Farmers League, who won the Premier League 8 out of 11 times in the first 11 years?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And people have short memories. Listen, it's engraved in City fans' minds, but more to the point, it's ingrained in Pep's mind, the way he reels them clubs off. So I don't have sympathy for your Newcastles, the Evertons and stuff like that.
It was already non-competitive and it was already monopolised.
It was, and just because the Blue Boys have moved in on it, you know, it's like, oh, we can't be having that. You only have to see the corruption throughout of it when you get the likes of David Gill, you know, on all these committees. You used to have what's he called at Arsenal, David Dean, and people like that. You know, the leaked emails, what have come out and stuff like that. Now, if that email wasn't factual, there's no way a newspaper would have published that because they would have been done for libel and stuff. Nobody's come out and gone that's made up. That's a fraudulent email because you know that didn't happen. They're not coming out to confirm or deny it. So for me, they're guilty. And that email did actually come out.
Here's the funny thing, is PSG, for example, who was on the board at UEFA? Yep. PSG spent, 200 million on Neymar? I know they didn't. They gave him the money to buy himself out, but they still gave him the money. They were renewing Mbappe's contracts every so often. How did PSG ever get away with all this? I'm not being funny.
Platini, mate. That's why.
I am only 12 years older than PSG.
You look a lot older, mate, to be fair.
I know I do. PSG were created in 1970. I mean, come on. What game we're playing here? Are we playing their own game? Jordan calls us a Frankenstein of a football club.
He's a Frankenstein of a
football club.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, what did United do in 1991?
Was by the way, speaking of them, didn't they get charged with a financial fair play not too long ago? Where's
and guilty.
Where's
Charged and guilty.
Where's that disappeared to?
Under the carpet, the same way when Liverpool hacked our scouting system and stole all our records and they got £1 million fine, they got swept under the rug. But what you get from a Liverpool fan is, well, we admitted it. we paid our due and got it again. Where was the apology from the referee when Haaland and Grealish got screwed against Tottenham a couple of weeks back?
There wasn't any.
That's my point. So why are Arsenal, Liverpool, etc. getting apologies off the PGMOL, and we get, oh well, the referee was just. I felt sorry for him. He made an error. Bollocks.
That's why I think it's important shows like this to get things off the chest and deliver some facts, because these charges, and I've said it until I'm blue in the face.
Sound like Benitez. Fact.
It doesn't. Once we're proven innocent, the tar will still be all over us. They'll tar us with the same brushes. Cheats. Regardless, you pay them.
It's a vicious cycle, mate. We'll be clear to this. Then 5 years later, there'll be the goalpost will be moved, and then we'll be found in breach of something else.
The one thing I will say, Nick Harris and Delaney, as much as I hate them, we know what their agenda is because they don't hide it. It's a human rights issue for them.
Yep.
They don't like our owners because of where they're from, and they've publicly admitted that. They know that.
What, Martin? Just say it's this. They're racist.
Yeah. Okay, they're racist.
I'll say it.
But you know what I mean? At least I'm not defending them, but at least they've got the set of bollocks to go, do you know what? That's why.
Yeah.
Why don't the others just say it? Because if we had a hedge fund from the US of A, would that be any different then?
Considering
let's be honest, let's look at Arsenal. It says, American oil is better than UAE oil.
Arsenal call us an oil club. They're sponsored by Emirates, the donuts. You don't even realise
where did Kroenke make most of his money? Who's his sponsor? Who's the sponsor on Arsenal shirt? What's the sponsor of the stadium?
Remember,
Stan Kroenke's daughter. Isn't Stan Kroenke's daughter married to somebody in the UAE royal family? In the
Who's that
Dubai royal
Jonathan
family or
Creek
something?
guy? What's he called?
Section, yes, he did. He absolutely bankrupted him, mate.
Yeah.
Who was Jonathan Creek? What's his real name?
No, I know you're talking about Alan Davies.
Alan Davies. He
Yeah.
did a podcast 2 years ago. I did a show about it very early
when
on.
we beat Arsenal at the death.
And he turned around when we beat Arsenal in the death. And he turned around and went, I'm sick of City. I wish they'd just go back to their own desert and play the football.
But he's a comedian. He's allowed to say that.
I'm like, whoa, since when are we allowed to say that now? Go back to your own desert.
You know something, though? Newcastle fans, right? I'll use them as an example. At the moment, they're like, fuck, why did Mike Ashley have to do this? It doesn't matter, because if Newcastle were in our position now, the powers that be would do stuff to make them exactly the situation we're in now. Not just because of their owners, but because we've gone in and we've smashed the Red Cartel up. Simple as that.
And they're too thick, because what I don't realise is, and this is another thing that, by the way, and this is, people are going to, rivals will come on and go, you're very bitter in this. And no, what we're giving you is a facts. We're giving you facts here. We're not coming on. We're giving you true facts.
You do look
all
like
beggies.
You look like
research but here's one for you.
Sorry, mate. Just quickly, I was just going to add to that too. You're saying about Newcastle. And here's something interesting actually. When I was chatting to the guys when we were watching Spurs at the pub on last Saturday morning, and one of them came up to me and they said like, because I knew he went to our pub to watch Newcastle Sunderland because his mates are Geordie, and he was sitting at the table, and then a couple of Newcastle fans came up, had a couple of pints, and they said like, how do you feel about the 115 charges? And he just said, like, look, I'm not really an expert on it. I'm just confident that our club can, get clear our name, and hopefully we can bury the hatchet and move on from there, that sort of thing like that. And one of them just turned around to him and just politely said, he's like, I can't get over how much the media has been just scrutinizing you about this. And he says, like, for that reason, it's like, I'm actually Newcastle, in regards to his club, he said, I'm scared when we start winning trophies. Because they're going to come after us. He said they're going to come. And he just knows. He knows they're going to come after us.
No, but that's sad. And Newcastle fans are already saying that. Some of them.
Yeah.
But here's my big thing. What I'm saying there. None of them even realise the Premier League
is a private members club,
Mhm.
to put it bluntly. So it's like,
It's a
and I use
country
this analogy all the time, so I apologise for doing it, but it's like going and being a member of your private golf club. And somebody says, Andy goes to his golf club on a Sunday morning, round of golf, and doesn't wear the right top and doesn't wear the right shoes.
Well, you wear as a former golfer, you wear metal spikes on your shoes when.
Yeah, but he goes on in a pair of Crocs.
It's the only one to wear plastic ones, so you're not ripping up the course.
Andy jumps on in a pair of Crocs, pair of shorts.
You won't catch me in Crocs, mate.
And a vest.
Not in Crocs.
What happens is they'll say, "Can you please leave?" And he goes, "No, don't want to leave, because I have the right freedom of will to wear what I want." Okay. So he turns around and they go, "Right, under your membership, we'd like you to come and sit in front of our committee. You've broken the rules that you signed up for at the very beginning to become a member of this league or this committee." And what they all don't realise is twice a year, all these clubs and chief execs, they all nip down to London on a lovely little jolly up, and I bet they're all in an hotel having a few drinkies together. And the Premier League go, "Any changes to the rules, lads? This is what we fancy. Have a vote on it." 14 votes pass through.
Mm-hmm.
When a fan,
which according to Jamie Carragher is unacceptable.
But all you hear, Pat and Andy, is, "I blame the Premier League." Why? The Premier League don't vote. You're voting on your future. Tell your owners, tell your chief execs to stop voting on this shit.
And an example of that, when the Super League was reared its ugly head, fan power then stopped that. Whether it was City, Spurs, the Rags reluctantly, but that's if I was, I'll use Burnley for example, right? If I was a Burnley fan, not only would I have 7 fingers on each hand, I'm joking, right?
They'd have done Trafford better.
No, if I was a Burnley fan, right, and this big rich billionaire came in and wanted to buy the club, but our current owners were like, "Oh no, we're not selling." I'd get fan power. There'd be fan power going, "Hang on, this is going to take us to the next level." So it's like turkeys voting for Christmas. You know, all the fans will back their clubs. Yeah. We say Everton, for instance. Yeah, we can't have City. Spending all that money and breaking all these laws and stuff. Well, hang on a minute.
Not laws.
No, but you know what I mean. Hang on, you do, right? In a percentage of money, you've broke the law, not us on the percentage. So,
yeah, but you've just said it, Andy. They call it laws.
Yeah.
It's suddenly become criminal case and let's get into court. It's rules. There's no laws.
It's rules.
Where has the media spun it is we broke laws.
Listen.
Now, when you read it properly, what we've been charged with, if we get found guilty, yes, it will. And now I'm not a finance expert or anything, but I'm only going off what I researched and listened to proper lawyers, not made up ones on Twitter who seem to think they've got the law degree out of a kinder egg. Is that if we are found guilty, tell you what, the Premier League will see. Either way, this is going to change football forever.
Well, I hope when we've proven innocent, we go after all these absolute fucking.
Do you think we will, though? Or do you think, like I said earlier, are you going to shit where you eat?
Listen, Stevie's got it right there, mate. I trust Caldoon and the club 1,000,000%. I do.
No, I agree.
1,000,000%. And it's like what I said earlier. Why should we just go to people who just knock on the door and go, "Yeah, there's all our books and everything. This is what..." It doesn't work that way.
No warrant, by the way. They've got no warrant.
Eh?
They've not got a warrant with them. They've just knocked on your door and gone, "Hiya."
That's what I'm saying. Why should we just hand over stuff? Because straight away I'd be going, "Hang on. you've not done anything about us, our emails and stuff being hacked and said that we, and this, that, and the other. And, look what Liverpool have done about, hacking our youth system and stuff like that. So how can we trust you by handing all this information over? Hang on, I don't trust you. If you think we've done something wrong, come after us. But we're innocent. We've got our stuff here. We'll sort it out in due course. Simple as that.
Spot on. And they will not listen to what Caldoon's words said. We welcome this investigation. Welcome it, because it gives us a chance to put it all out there now.
Clear our name once and for all, yeah. And
also, what did he say? Irrefutable.
Look at that for the link.
Yeah.
Listen,
I think,
I think those words.
Given the integrity of our owners, I think if they were in the wrong, they would have already come out and said, "Yeah, we've made a mistake."
That's a great point, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Why is no one else talking about Chelsea? I had a Chelsea fan taking the piss out of me once. Said, "You've been charged. Why are you getting on your IR?"
But Chelsea, I'll tell you why for Midwolves. Chelsea were quite cute and clever with this, because what Chelsea have done is
I know
they've sold a lot of players as well to sort of like get the books there or thereabouts. But what Chelsea have gone and done is, hang on, Premier League and authorities. Have you seen what Abramovich did before he sold the club to us? So the Premier League can't do out against Chelsea, because when a new owner comes in, the fit and proper, they do a fit and proper thing against new owners regardless. Yeah. Why didn't the Premier League pick all these irregularities up, what Abramovich did? So the Premier League or whoever does the fit and proper, they've missed it. So it just shows the incompetence there. So Chelsea have gone, dickheads. How can they do us when it's their job?
They tried to be cute and gone, it's not us, it was the former owner. So we're just trying to be honest.
Fair play to Chelsea. They found a loophole with the contracts, what they're giving players and stuff like that. They've boot-loaded players in case they get a transfer embargo. Listen, if loopholes are there, use loopholes. I'm not saying City have not used loopholes. We've used loopholes. So what? You do what you can to get ahead of the game if it's legal or there's loopholes. There's difference between using loopholes and being guilty.
I'm just not sure they will go after anyone, because look at UEFA. They had the perfect opportunity to really do Saffron. Mm-hmm. And what did they do on the day? A joint statement came out from Saffron and Caldoon, both saying that they were looking forward to a brighter, more promising relationship moving forward. And that's what will happen again.
And he'll hand us the Champions League trophy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And then, hey, presto, 6 months later, we won the Champions League, weirdly. That's what will happen again with the Premier League. There will be no going after anyone, because, again, you can't shit where you eat. But you've still got to do business with these people and still do other stuff. You can't take, for example, United.
We don't have to do business with them. We do not have to do business with them. These are the ones.
They're not going to take someone like Mark Goldbridge to court.
No, but
he's too irrelevant.
No, but listen, not the likes of Goldbridge, but the journalists. Like I said earlier, they don't have to let them in, mate. They're just like, hang on.
Nick Harris is banned, into.
Who?
Nick Harris did say he was banned.
He should be.
Even though he was on Twitter begging for former City employees to ring it to DM him for any whistleblowing, which I thought was quite special of him.
I hope they banned Delaney from the Etihad, because I'm pretty sure the same night that we beat Madrid 4-0, he was going on about saying like, "Oh, this is what Arab money can get you these days," and all this sort of crap. I don't know, like.
Can't put that blue out. That's tight.
What was that?
Oh, just saying there'll be another chance.
Right, okay, we obviously spoke for that 115 because we knew sooner or later it was going to come up. But
you've not seen.
Can I ask you guys one thing? Is in all the years and all the anti-city agenda, is there at least like one or two articles that you've seen that to this day still grinds your gears? Like you can't even look at it without getting annoyed. Like it's fake news, it's misinformation, it's just completely goes against everything we know about the club or a player or owners or anything like that. Like or an anti-city agenda or something. Like what's something that still stands out for you?
That we've got no history and we're a little club. Absolutely grinds on my gears, that.
Yeah.
Because our history has been erased. You never heard about City being the first ever English team to win a domestic trophy and a European trophy in the same season. You never heard about City having the highest attendance in English football. You never heard about City winning a cup before Arsenal were even invented. You never heard about 1 million supporters being on the parade for the FA Cup. You when I was a kid, all you heard about was Joe Mercer and Malcolm Allison and how great they were and what a City team that was. You don't hear about that anymore.
Yeah.
Mike Summerby goes on to Sky Sports. The one time we had a proper repping, and because he took them to task, they never had him back. Weird that, innit?
Well, regarding your question, Pat, there's a lot of headlines what have grinded my gears, and I've put that in the actual thumbnail for the show. Things like Pep will leave. There's too many, and I was speaking to somebody. I won't say who he is. He's known within City in respect of a fan, not inside City and stuff like that. And we were just talking like, how many anti-City, either influencers or journalists and stuff like that. And I said, I tell you what, I nearly said his name then. I said, I'll do a show. I'll do a show on it. And that's why I asked on Twitter the other day for everybody to put in the comments who they think is against what City do.
I mean, can I throw an example out to you, Andy?
Yeah, of course you can.
And it's way off course, but I'm just trying to make this point. What did Marcus Rashford do the other day?
Got pissed,
mistrained him, told lies, went on social media.
He was on a night out he wasn't even in the same country, was he? Yeah.
Yeah. Guess who's playing tonight and scoring?
Technically he was.
But guess who's playing tonight and scoring?
I know.
You won't hear a damn thing about it.
No. And that just it's because of who he plays for, mate.
If that was Grealish, I mean, Kyle Walker, for example, has been lambasted by this English media for the last 10 days to 2 weeks. Lambasted, even by some of our own fan base. And our own fan base seem to be nosy and want to know when our players go for a piss. But
and they've listened. They've listened. Some of our own fans have listened to these gutter media, and a lot of it is born out of that. I just wish people could think for themselves.
Yeah.
The two that stand out for me that are just so frustrating, make absolutely no sense whatsoever, and just dumb from whoever published them was, if we go back to the season leading up to when COVID put a hold on everything. And Martin's not going to know exactly what I'm talking about, Andy. You'll probably know it too. But do you remember at the start of the 1920 season when BBC released?
I am.
I was 20.
19/20 season.
Oh, right.
2020 season, yeah. Some of you saw Billy Meredith. I didn't see Billy Meredith. I was
going to say I was 21 then, and the year you just corrected, I was still 21.
Yeah, you had your own Great Depression back then, didn't you? Remember BBC released the Premier League fixtures, but for the publication they put a photo of Liverpool holding the Champions League trophy.
Winning the Champions League all over it.
For the public for Premier League fixtures.
Mm-hmm. You ever notice why we're never on TV on the opening game? We are the treble winners, and we're never on TV on the opening game.
Yeah, when they do, our Premier League broadcaster over here, Optus Sport, and that when they do the opening sting for the intro for the Premier League, there's no us lifting the trophy as defending champions. It's like a bloody panning shot over the cop or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just
Also,
the other one that frustrates me too, and I'll quickly get back to what we're talking about there about him not showing the trophies. But the other one was remember Vincent Kompany's testimonial or the charity match that he did, and there was that some junior reporter or journalist or something basically did this massive article about saying the City fans had booed James Milner when he came on the pitch. He wasn't even in the ground that day. It was just someone in there was just trying to create an anti-City agenda for absolutely no reason.
Today, I'm not being funny. There's some City fans who will never have heard of Alfie Harrison, and you'd have thought, but City had lost the best number 8 in the world of football. The way it's been dictated to today. Cole Palmer suddenly getting a very different rhetoric than what he got last season in the media.
Oh God, yeah.
Last season in the media, he was a nearly guy. This season, he's the next England generational talent. And Bernardo Silva's talked about it. We'll never get the credit. David Silva got in the team of the year once in the 10-11 seasons he was with us. Once.
Just let me go back to something here. Just let me go back to something here. Regarding what Pat was saying about the trophies and stuff like that. But people might say because it's the sponsor. The FA Cup when it was on TV the other day was in red and white ribbons. That should be blue and white ribbons because we won the FA Cup.
Yep.
It's like it's almost and a few years ago when we won the Premier League, I forget which time we won it. Ferdinand tweeted BBC Match of the Day saying, "I'm sick of seeing that now. Get it off." And it was about 4 or 5 games from the end of the season, and the next week, it wasn't on. So the likes of Ferdinand and stuff like that, they are exactly the same. Let's talk about Omar Barada. Let's talk about Omar Barada. The media, not many people would know who Omar Barada was up until what's happened. Including people in the media, all of a sudden, he must know that they're guilty, so he's jumped ship, or he's going to turn United round. He didn't turn City round. He was influential in the CFG, no doubt about it, and I've got no gripes against Omar. However, it's just like one rule for one and one rule for another, and it's never going to stop, guys. It's never going to stop.
No, not at all.
Oh, by the way, just on your, I want to go on the brand. Just on your FA Cup thing. The FA Cup draw we just had.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what City were announced as?
So many times we've been in the semi-finals.
Yeah, not the 7-time champions.
Yeah, not the
7-time champions.
Yeah, not the current holders.
Yeah.
Where did that go? We're not the cup holders anymore. That go out the window. No, but my brother's thing's spot on. There's one United fan, I think it might have even been Saeed. He was the only one who went. The guy was the commercial guy, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a lot of these sponsorship deals. So he said, if he's come to United, it's actually a good thing for City. Not a bad thing for City. But everyone else ran on the market of.
I said about Saeed, I've got time for it because he keeps it, He's honestly keeps it real. Yeah.
It was like, come on, where are you going here? None of that, you just said it. No one knew who Omar Barada was. We did, because again, we researched. But I've never seen a celebration, Talk Sport, Sky Sports. It turned into a massacre of City. When Everton got charged 1-1, when Everton got charged, and Notts Forest got charged.
We were trending.
Manchester City was the number 1 trend.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't even charged.
Do you know something? The difference is they've admitted being guilty. We're saying, why should we admit being guilty when in our opinion, we're not? That's just like going, I'm in a police interview room and I'm not guilty. I'll go, yeah, I'm guilty. Just throw the book at me, just throw me into a cell. It doesn't work like that. Why should you admit guilt when you know you're not? It just doesn't make sense.
The narrative.
Anyway, guys, I think we'll leave it there. I think we've discussed it. You know,
I think Pat wants to mention something about the Australian media.
G'day, mate.
Without the stereotypes, of course.
Sorry.
Look, it's first things first. Before we get onto any sort of anti-city agenda you get here in Australia, I just wanted to, first of all, state that the football culture here in Australia is completely different to pretty much any other really major developed Western country in the world, to be honest. And that goes all the way back to basically post-war migrants coming out to Australia. You know, basically creating their own clubs, their own leagues. You know, we see it today in the Premier Leagues that we have for each state and things like that too. Now, the problem is that I can say this casually because, to be honest, there is a lot of Australian society that's like this. There is a lot of casual racism going on, very anti-post-war migrants, very anti, and for that reason, by relation, there's a lot of anti-soccer, any soccer or any football agenda, basically towards the game here in Australia. It's very pro cricket, very pro
stereotypes are not soccer. Don't
soccer. Not soccer. It's soccer. So as you can see, so like football does take a back seat to the football code. So like your rugby league, rugby union, Aussie rules, and of course cricket, depending on that's a seasonal issue, of course. Now, within football, there is also a subculture of a lot of favoritism towards other clubs, in particularly the red ones. That goes all the way back to the 80s with Liverpool, because I believe they had one or two Australians who played for them back in those days. So obviously the generational following that has occurred now in Australia is huge. Like Liverpool has a huge amount of supporter base here in Australia. United can be said the same too, obviously with their success in the Premier League all the way through the 90s into the 2000s. And Spurs has had a bit of a following. Spurs and Arsenal have a solid following as well too. Now that's obviously grown quite significantly in the last few months since Ange Postecoglou's come in. Yeah. And that's not been critical. That's a really, really good thing. That's great for the game. And it just shows that, it's good to see that, an Australian is able to sort of navigate their way through the politics of European football and been able to create what seems to be a good culture at a club like Spurs. So obviously a lot of the broadcasters are sort of lapping that up at the moment. It's very pro-red. It's very pro-Ange. Never mind Spurs. It's just very pro-Ange because of obvious his influence for Australian football. But when it comes to talking about Manchester City, they don't really talk it down, but they don't talk it down to your face, but it's more done in stealth. So I can give you examples like when they do pre-match or post-match analysis of matches, unless it's like a derby or a match against a Big Six club, you'll see it. A lot of the reporting is done, and it's usually they'll just do an analysis in like 90 seconds or 2.5 minutes. It's like City in this sort of form right now, and they'll say it in a way like, we've even had pundits on there saying like, well, I hope it's a close game. I hope it's not a blowout. Or it's like, we see upsets before. It's like, they have once lost to this club back in 1989 or something like that. So you never know, things could happen. So that, just trying to create false narratives of, basically hoping that City can lose so it can make their weekend, so that sort of thing. But the other thing that another example too was I remember when it was the 2020-2021 season, and we were watching. I believe it was City in the group stages against Porto for the Champions League, and we're all sitting in there. And then halftime comes, and you're just waiting around the pub, just having a coffee or whatever. And then because the pub's nice enough to have the match, the commentary on the loudspeaker for us, so we can listen to it. It doesn't matter where you are in the pub. Next thing you know, all of a sudden we hear, the cop singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." And for that whole 15 minutes, they put on a documentary about Liverpool winning its first Premier League title in 30 years. For a Manchester City versus Porto Champions League group stage match. It's like, it doesn't matter who. No one's going to want to listen to that during the interval. You know what I mean? Like it just shows, and from then on, it was just all these things. It's like then for the rest of that season, even 2 seasons later, they were still talking about. 2 seasons after that, they were still during intervals and things like that. They were still showing footage of Liverpool winning the league in that. Nothing about City's 2 Premier League victories or the final day, because it goes against their narrative, because we beat Liverpool on the final day where we beat Villa. It's just, and the same thing goes with Manchester United too. It's like when we play during the intervals when we play, they're showing footage of like classic goals from United players back in the 90s and 2000s. Just goes against everything, and it just shows. It's like, to me, if anything, I think it's actually more pathetic the way that it's done by Australians, because they'll do it, but they'll do it in stealth, but they'll never admit their City agenda. But the proof is there by the fact that they basically give us virtually no airtime compared to the red clubs and compared to obviously today Spurs with.
Yeah, I remember that. We used to get 5 minutes at the end of match of the day.
Yeah. So there's nothing. It's if anything, it's just there's no balls to it. It's just like they're not willing to turn around and say like, oh, City's 115 charge or anything like that. Just like no, we'll just leave them aside, cast them aside, like as if it's almost like they'd probably spend more time analysing like a championship side and an FA Cup match. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's.
You're on something. I know.
It's just. I'm not frustrated by it. I just think it's dumb. It's just.
No, I am. This is never going to change.
And that's it, mate. That's why my perspective on it now is it doesn't matter what happens. When, in my opinion, we will be found innocent. It doesn't matter. So we'll always be tired with it. So just enjoy what we've won. It'll never, ever, ever take the joy away from what we've all had over the past however many years. So it's pointless getting angry with everyone. Yeah, it's great to try and educate all these knobheads who we've name checked and stuff like that. It just shows you, for me, the lack of education and also the influence of these, what I say, click for dicks who did just after clicks. So never let it detract what we've achieved, because that's been done on the pitch. Because you could put Pep at Liverpool. They, by the way, they think they're getting Pep, dickheads. And Pep would have won more than Klopp would with our players, if that makes sense, because that's the difference in the manager, not the money.
Klopp's won 1 Premier League title. I've never heard so much lauding about it in all my life.
Oh, the worst one there was even after the most recent Premier League title, maybe the one that we won before that. There were some elements of the media saying that, this rivalry between City and Liverpool is that they'd shared the Premier League trophies. Now, if you're talking about a certain time frame, it's like it's only been us or them.
Yeah, that was the other one.
It ain't sharing when you're at the table and we get five. We get 5.
And
They
got 97, and there was a big call of give them a trophy for being so close. Like,
and let's not. Or
the worst one was, what about the stat where they said if football was played where you got 3 points for games won where you scored goals from outside the 18-yard box?
Yeah, but listen, that's a big issue.
The rules to create the narrative.
That's a big issue for me, because the trouble is with modern day football now, too many people are listening to stats and statistics. And stats and statistics are very good to a certain point. SofaScore has become an absolute pet peeve of mine.
Yeah. And that's why Lee Gunner's so good, because he calls it out.
Sit there,
he calls out, as he calls them, the mutants.
Nobody don't even watch football. They don't watch the game. They sit and watch SofaScore with the stats updating every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
While they're texting. And I'm like, what?
Because it's important. These days, goals and assists and 3 points and 1 point are irrelevant now to field tilt.
Yeah,
field tilt is so important these days now. Like we have to factor all those in.
I will say one thing about Klopp's achievement at Liverpool. Every trophy he's won, we did that in 10 days. He did it in 8 years.
That's my point.
Absolutely.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a fact. Anybody else want to throw anything in the chat or anything before we go? But listen, just enjoy what we've got. It's good. It's good to.
I think that's as a Liverpool fan.
That's what?
That's Stassi Sutter is a Liverpool fan. Liverpool have won 97 trophies.
City won 37. Jolly good. But you
No,
won
I
one Premier League in
97.
4 years. Is it
No,
34 or 35?
Martin, look at the number. Justice for the
No, don't. Yeah, because
Oh,
good job. I'm switched on as the host, innit, eh?
well, you are the host. Sure, show.
The host with the least. Listen, thanks for joining us, guys. Yeah, we was hoping to get Alan on as well, but Alan's not well, so we wish Alan a speedy recovery because we'd have loved to have had. It was made for Alan this show tonight, wasn't it?
Alan season ticket.
But yeah, thanks. New people who normally join our channel and stuff like that on a when we do it on a Sunday or not. I hope you've enjoyed it. Normally we do something different. It's more fun on our channel on a Sunday. But I just felt tonight, and that's why I asked Martin and Pat and that to come on and let's just deliver some facts. Let's just get a bit of that out. And
what we're doing next week? What's topic next week?
no, it'll be this again because it'll be more. Yeah, it'll be this again. This will just be a weekly thing because it'll be more nonsense, more drivel that'll come out.
Good evening, Vader, mate. So if anybody who's not subscribed and know what to subscribe, by all means, just subscribe. But we have a good giggle on a Sunday and stuff like that. So thanks everybody for joining us. It has been a lively debate, really, hasn't it? And thanks for everybody on TikTok who's joined us as well.
Smash the thumbs up and subscribe.
Absolutely.
That was a good show, guys. It was sensibly passionate.
And by the way, savageonlinestores.co.uk, put in the code MAMWAY and get yourself 10% off.
Not Manuel.
Manuel.
He's
gone. He went 6 years ago.
Anybody who puts that code in the website, I'll automatically put you a free matching code.
By the way, just before we leave, can I just wish everyone happy Pep Guardiola Day?
I thought you were going to say Christmas then.
No, happy Pep Guardiola Day to everyone.
It's his birthday.
No, nobody's getting that one, are they? That's wrong over everyone.
No, not for me. I tweeted it earlier, mate. It's
1st of February is the day Pep Guardiola got announced to.
Oh yeah.
Whatever happened to that Pep Guardiola? All these people who said, he'll never make it in the Premier League and his methods won't work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Pardo's got a great question. Any signings today? No, you can go to bed.
No, we've done 3
for the women.
Yeah.
Did I?
Piss off, you're not getting away with that one.
They weren't specific.
You said Benzema.
No, I didn't say Benzema. I said I would have liked him for 6 months, but I got shot down by. Yeah, I can see you doing that. Yeah. Listen, thanks for joining us anyway, guys. Thank you to everybody in the comments. I love the interaction. It's brilliant, and we will do it again on Sunday. Martin, do you want to plug when you're doing your stuff, mate?
Saturday night now. We did a show last night on Brighton, on the Brighton Burnley game. But we've got a show Saturday where we're going to talk. Our Thursday night chat is going to become Saturday Night Live, 10 p.m. Saturday night. We're going to go into the Brentford game. Not talking about Chris Woods. Going to talk Brentford, and we're also. I think Ozzy's got a subject, and I'm going to have a little rant about ticket prices and atmospheres because I'm really getting pissed off with it now.
You're going to have Russ Abbott going, oh, what an atmosphere. On that note, gents, thanks for joining us. And again, thanks to everybody in the chat. We will do it again on Sunday. Have a good weekend.
I'm Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
And he's down under.
Adios.
Australia too.